Paint job look like DMT, new crossbody band that say LV. I get real high, but I don't sip lean. Don't fuck that bitch, she don't roll weed. Only rock Jordan 1s and 4s, all white pure money all on my toe.
Today is the day I start digging into the Fiesta. I know I said I was gonna wait until next week, but it's the next day. And I'm just gonna start tearing it apart. You know, I don't have to rush anything, just have fun with it. First things first, I'm gonna take the intake off and I'm gonna focus on the turbo stuff first. And then after the turbo stuff is done, then I'll do the aux fueling and all the other stuff. I gotta take the front bumper off, get the intercooler off, the front bash bar. Gotta do the intercooler piping because those are aftermarket. I'm just going back to 100% stock. So I got the catch can out so I can get this intake tube out easy. And of course I spilled some on the alternator. So now I'm gonna get the intake tube out, and then that's really it from the top to get the turbo out. The only other thing you have to do from the top is like the turbo oil feed line, which the connection's back here. You can do it from the bottom. And then the water hoses, which one's like right here, and then one's back there, and that's really it. So now you can see it a little bit better. And there's the turbo inlet, wastegate. Yeah. The turbos on these are really not hard to do at all. I've done the turbo on these quite a few times, and I could do one in like an hour and a half. It's really no time. This one I'm gonna take my time with because I wanna drop the subframe. I got so many other parts I need to get rid of, so it's gonna be a little bit more involved. Bumper is off. I vacuumed right here because it had dirt and leaves and everything up in there. Here's the whoosh intercooler. And it's got whoosh pipes, I guess. But yeah, I'll probably wait to do the bash bar. Gotta take this little thing out. I don't like these things. They don't do anything and they're 150 bucks. So they're just for show. All right, so yesterday I got the turbo out. Here it is. And bad news on the turbo. It has eaten something in its life. So it has chipped fins. So that sucks because now it's worth significantly less, but it's okay. Here's the manifold and the wastegate. All that stuff's in good shape. I'm now pulling off the aux fuel. You gotta take the alternator off and take the intake manifold off, and yeah, it'll come right off. Aux fueling is out. Got that going back in. Here it is. Anybody wants to buy it? Lightly used, no issues. So I left off yesterday. I took the aux fueling off. It's right there. And yeah, basically everything engine-wise is off. I still have to do transmission and everything because it's got a limited slip. And I gotta do these transmission mounts and stuff. I have a full, complete stock turbo. Well, actually, need to put the oil feed on, but then it'll be a complete stock turbo, and I'm gonna throw this in. So now I'm gonna put the turbo on. Now I have all the room in the world, so I got it just as one complete thing. Gonna lift it on in there, and then you just gotta do the manifold bolts, and then it's basically in. Put the oil tubes on, coolant, vacuum routing, it's done. Falling on my face. Crash bar out. Alright, so the hot side pipe is all on. I'm waiting to do the cold side because I'm probably going to drop the transmission before I put it all back together. So yeah, I'm probably going to wait to do the cold side because that doesn't have to come out to do the transmission, but it makes it easier. Also, the down pipe is all on. I had to run a tap through the turbo holes because they always get messed up, so always run a tap if you have the downpipe off. I also clean these threads on the downpipe, so once I get the stock exhaust back on, it'll bolt right in easily, because these threads always get messed up too. So clean these if they don't break. If they do break, you gotta heat this flange up right here and hammer it out. Going for the world record on dropping a Fiesta transmission. It's 12:20 now. Let's see what time it is when I'm done. An hour, 10 minutes. All right, guys, so I got both transmissions out. This one took an hour 20 on the dot, and that was with car on the ground and everything. The only thing I had taken off was the wipers. So yeah, an hour 20, not bad. And then this one didn't take long because it was already like almost out. Yeah, you can see it has a limited slip because it's blocked off in there, where this is a completely stock one and it has a little bar in there. So that's how you know this one's been done before. So I'm very excited about this. Should take about 2 hours, I would say, to get it in and get everything connected and filled and everything. So I'm gonna have at it. Got a new slave in this one. Now it's silent. I'm gonna put a light layer of high temperature grease just right on the slave part and a little bit on the splines to make it going into the transmission easier. So now I just got to bolt the clutch on. Now I just got to get the transmission in here, and then after that everything should be a piece of cake. When you get a few of the transmission bolts in, I would highly recommend trying to bleed your slave, because if it's bad you got to drop the trans and do it again. But so this is how I have it hooked up. Just a vacuum line to the nipple down there, and then you run it up and put it in the reservoir, and then you open the bleeder valve, and then just with your hand keep on pumping the clutch pedal until you can hear it pushing fluid back into here. And I'd say do it for a minute or two, and then when the clutch pedal's down, close the bleeder valve, and then just try the clutch with your hand and see if it's working properly. If it is, then you're good. So I just did mine. Mine's good. I'm gonna top off the fluid and then put everything else back together. And yeah, it should be like another hour now. All the major stuff is done. Everything that needs to be plugged in is plugged in, and everything that needs to be torqued down is torqued down. Don't mind my brake fluid. Have all gears. Clutch is working. Working. All right, that's enough. Jesus. So I got a little messy, but the limited slip transmission is now installed. So I can't wait to feel it. Let me button it up so I can go drive it. Now when I move this wheel forward, the other side moves forward, and backwards, the other side goes backwards. It's all back together, and I cleaned up for the most part. It's 5:20 now. I started at 12:20. Took about 5 hours to get this transmission out, do the clutch, and get that transmission out, and take the clutch off, and then throw it back in here. No brakes really, so yeah, about 5 hours, so not too bad. All right, I cleaned up a little bit. I'm gonna go to the gas station and I'm gonna fill up with E30. So I did this and I'm doing my E32 at the same time, so it should feel like a whole new car.
I'm giving it gas. I'm giving it. That's full throttle. That's full throttle.
It is?
Yeah.
All right, stop it. Let it die.
You'll take one of those. Come on.
This thing has an issue of sorts.
Hey, yeah, can't bring a bitch on bad with me. I walk in this bitch, get rats on me. I treat new cars like DLC. I treat these hoes like DLC. Can't bring a bitch on bad with me. I'm walking this bitch, get rats on me. I treat new cars like DLC. I treat these hoes like DLC.